everybody, it is Calxiyn here, and if you guys enjoyed this video, you guys should go ahead and subscribe for more Rwby news, and you guys should also check out the Discord server if you guys want to hang out with some other Rwby fans. And this video was brought to you by my patrons over on Patreon, so thank them very much. And now let's just get into it. So, you guys should watch this panel for yourself. It was a Rooster Teeth panel that was at home, obviously, because none of us are going anywhere. So it wasn't just Rwby news. There was actually some stuff about Red versus Blue. Do I know anything about Red versus Blue? The answer is no. So I can't speak to that, but if you guys are interested in like other Rooster Teeth ongoings, I would suggest watching some of it for yourself. We are going to talk about the news in the order that it was presented, and I'm going to talk about like the little things and also like the big thing, the thing that everyone was waiting for. So yeah, why don't we just get into that? So Carrie says that they've started writing Rwby Volume 9, which is pretty exciting, considering that basically at the end of Volume 7, they were like, yeah, we're working on Volume 8 and 9, and so the way it sounded like now, obviously you're never done until it comes out, you know what I mean? But it seems like they're sort of moving on from Rwby Volume 8 to Rwby Volume 9. That is the way that it sounded to me anyway. And so Barbara basically asked like how had things sort of changed from writing Rwby Volume 7 and Volume 8 even, and basically what was said was that having more episode directors really helps, having more writers really helps, and he basically said like it's cheesy but it's teamwork, you know? They have said that they are consistent and focused, and nothing has really changed. Like they're just more focused, they're prioritizing better and stuff like that. And so that makes me feel really confident about things, especially because it's like it's quarantine, but they basically said like, hey, Rwby is coming out on time, like don't worry. And so I feel like that's really good, that even though they're in this, you know, terrible circumstance of having to, like, work from home and coordinate and do all of that, like, they seem to be, like, going along, and they seem to be, like, doing pretty good, so, you know, good for them. I'm really glad. Barbara says that the theme for Volume 8 is going to be distrust, which, I mean, we could have all expected, but she does have to say something that's, like, understandable, but not too spoilery, so distrust makes a lot of sense, especially with the clip that we saw, and I made a video on that. I'm not gonna say any spoilers for that clip, but I do have some thoughts about that clip and what could be going on in it, and it does sort of have to do with some distrusting stuff, so yeah. So that was interesting for Barbara to say, because she has to balance between, like, is this a spoiler? Like, can I say this? I think distrust is a perfectly valid thing to say. I think that makes a lot of sense considering where we left off. Here's what I'm actually really excited about, is that they are doing a merch collab. I think they called them Babs, and they are doing like streetwear clothes. And so the way that sounded like to me is that these aren't gonna be like merch with that photo that I'm showing you guys on it. This is gonna be like actual wearable, like a Weiss collection, where it's like, you know, the stuff that Weiss is wearing in the photo. Like Barbara called it streetwear, and I looked up what streetwear was, and it's like casual clothing, right? So it's almost like if you made like, what's a good example? Like a Kingdom Hearts like casual clothing line, which they did. I will post that somewhere here. Like a Kingdom Hearts inspired clothing line that you could go and like wear into the wild, and like some people would know it's Kingdom Hearts if they're a fan, but they're like actual wearable clothes. That is what it sounded like. It sounds like these are not just gonna be like shirts with a design on it, which are fine. I have lots of shirts. You guys have seen my shirt collection, right? But this is gonna be like really cool. It sounds like it's gonna be really cool, and like clothes that like you could actually like wear out, and like somebody maybe like, oh, that's like so hip or something, whatever the kids say. Here's how I would phrase it. Stuff that my sister would go to the store and buy and actually wear. Like clothes that are hip with the kids these days and like fashionable and trendy streetwear, but like in a Rwby style, and like Weiss would wear this if she was in the real world. Like stuff like that. That is what it sounds like, and that sounds great to me. I'm glad that they're taking some feedback from the fans, because I feel like I talked about this. I feel like I mentioned this on Twitter, but like it would have been, I think around the Kingdom Hearts thing, I was like, it would be really cool if Rwby had clothes. Like, not just shirts with designs on it, clothes, because they are so close with those cosplay hoodies, but they never, like, went all the way. Like, I want a Rwby skirt. Like, I want a skirt that I can, like, wear, and it's a Rwby skirt. You know what I'm saying? That's based off of Rwby's skirt and Weiss's skirt and all that stuff. And so, I really like the idea. I'm really excited for it. Obviously, I don't know if they'll do a men's clothing or a women's clothing, but judging by the picture, I am, like, wondering if this will be more of, like, a women's line, and so that's nice for me, because, like, half of the stuff I buy from the Rooster Teeth store, no tea, no shade, but does not fit me, because I'm 5'2", and I'm very small, and so it's one of those things where I always buy extra small, but somehow it's still too big. So that would be nice if there was like a woman-centric like collection of like clothes, because there have been collections of shirts, but it's been like 2 women's shirts, right? You know what I mean? Like for Rwby specifically. So now to have like a line, like that sounds like a lot of fun. So Rwby GoodSmile figures. So you guys will be able to see those on screen. They're starting with Rwby Volume 1, but the implication is that if these sell well, maybe there will be more, which is really, really good. They look really, really nice. I know nothing about this company, so if you guys have bought, you know, anime like figurines and stuff from them, I totally blanked. I was like, what do you call these things? Action figures? Like figurines? I don't know. But if you guys have like anime figurines from them and stuff, like tell me how they are, because I have no fucking idea. The only one I have is Lelouch, and I think that was like a completely different company. Lelouch is the only like person. Let me just pull out Lelouch. Lelouch is the only like person type thing that I have. So yeah, I do have the Cinder figure from the Rooster Teeth store, but they are kind of ugly, not gonna lie. They've been on clearance for a while, and so it's nice to see some like high quality Rwby figures. Will I buy these? Maybe, because I'm a little bit of a hoarder. Should I buy them? Probably not, because I don't have any space for stuff like that, but they look really nice, and I think that this is gonna be a good collaboration with them. Again, implied that they will do more if like these sell out. Maybe you should pre-order them. Just a suggestion. I don't know. I'm not being paid for this, so do what you want. I don't care. So now we can talk about the big news, and that is the Rwby Volume 7 soundtrack. Oh, thank fuck, guys. I was getting really, really scared. So at the beginning of the month, if you guys follow me on Twitter, which you should, I was like, guys, it has to be a Friday in July. Like, that's what I said, because soundtracks always come out on Friday now. It's, you know, this whole thing, if you look it up, if you look up why music releases on Friday, like, there's a whole thing, right? And so I was like, guys, like, every week we just need to, like, wait for the Friday in July, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, a couple weeks passed and I was like, oh no. And so I sort of had this idea. I was like, I'm pretty sure that they don't want it to overshadow the book. So if we get to a certain point, it'll have to be after the book releases. Does that make sense? And so the book released this week, and so it only made sense that it would release next week. So around next week, like 6 days, because it's Saturday, right? So it's not exactly a week. July 31st, we are getting the goddamn soundtrack. And I know they've been working super hard. I don't mean like, god damn it, like they've taken so long. I don't mean it like that, but we have been like starving. Like we are starving over here as Rwby fans. We are so hungry for the Rwby soundtrack. And so I'm really, really excited. We don't have like a track list yet. I may do a video, like a theory on that or something. Like Hunter and I used to do that. We used to be like, guess which songs will be on the soundtrack. I think the ones in the show, right? Because sometimes we have songs that like weren't in the show. Sometimes we have songs in the show that are only there for like 3 seconds, right? Like Indomitable and sort of stuff like that. And then we hear the full length, but I feel like with this, it's going to be pretty clear cut. Like we've heard chunks of the songs, and I feel like because of quarantine, I don't know how much time they had to do like anything extra. I know that sounds weird because obviously we have a lot of time being locked up in our houses in quarantine, but I mean in terms of coordinating everything, we don't know how complicated they wanted to make things, and so a whole new song that like wasn't in the show at all, that may be a little complicated. And like even remixes, like that shit's hard, bro. So like even if that was on the past soundtracks, I don't know in terms of like this soundtrack, like how hard they're gonna go with it, because they're already doing songs where they have to collaborate with other people, right? Like other like Rwby, or not just Rwby, but like song cover people like on YouTube, right? So like that's the first thing. And the virus. And, like, you know, all of this stuff piling on. Like, the soundtrack is already technically late, right? And so it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know how much extra tracks, like, outside of the expected that we can expect. So maybe that kind of video wouldn't be worth it. I don't know. But yeah, that is basically all from me, guys. Like, I may do it. If you guys want me to do it, I will do it and I will speculate. But unless, could you imagine if they gave us, like, a Robin song? Sort of like The Witcher, like, oh god, Jasker, like, in the bar, like, with his little lute, like, doing, like, the folk songs and all that stuff. Like, what if, like, they do, like, a Robin song and it's like that? That would be crazy. I don't know why I just thought of that. That would be cool, though, like, to get information about Robin like that. But yeah, anyway, that's it. This was fun. It's been real. It's been fun, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed all of the talk about the news, and I will see you guys in the next news video. Hopefully there's more news. Well, I guess the next time I see you guys, it'll be a Rwby video, like a soundtrack reaction or something. So yeah. Anyway, that's all for me. I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.